The morning rush was always the hardest part of the day. The city's heartbeat pulsed through honking horns, steaming coffee cups, and the tired footsteps of people chasing time. Among them was Daniel Ross, a single father who worked 2 jobs and still somehow managed to get his daughter to school every day. His mornings began before dawn, packing her lunch, ironing his faded uniform, and walking the same route to the bus stop. And every morning he saw her, the same woman, sitting quietly on the park bench near the corner cafe. She always wore the same gray coat, her hair tucked neatly into a low bun, and glasses that hid most of her face. To others, she was invisible, a nobody in the blur of city life. But to Daniel, she was someone he couldn't ignore. The first time he noticed her, she was shivering in the cold, clutching a paper bag that looked empty. He'd offered her a cup of coffee. The next day, he brought her a muffin. It became a silent ritual. Every morning, he'd hand her something warm to eat, exchange a gentle smile, and then hurry to work. If you believe in kindness, in giving without expecting anything in return, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Because sometimes, the smallest gestures build bridges between hearts that were never meant to meet. Weeks passed, and the woman became part of Daniel's daily rhythm. She didn't talk much, but her eyes spoke volumes, loneliness, gratitude, and something else he couldn't quite place. One morning, when the rain poured harder than usual, he handed her his umbrella. She shook her head, gesturing for him to keep it, but he insisted. "I've been wet before," he'd said with a grin. "But coffee tastes worse when it's cold." She laughed softly, the sound delicate yet warm, the first time he'd heard her voice. Daniel's life wasn't easy. He worked as a janitor at an office building by day and took extra shifts at a diner at night. Every dollar was stretched thin, every moment of rest stolen from exhaustion. But he never stopped helping her. He never asked who she was, where she came from, or why she was always there. To him, she was just someone who needed a bit of kindness in a world that often forgot how to give it. What Daniel didn't know was that the woman wasn't homeless, nor was she forgotten by the world. Her name was Olivia Hale, CEO of Hale Industries, one of the city's largest corporations. A name he'd never connect to the quiet woman on the bench. She had disguised herself deliberately, old clothes, no makeup, and a pair of second-hand glasses, to escape the suffocating perfection of her world. For months, she'd been secretly observing people, trying to find authenticity again after a year filled with betrayal from those who claimed to care. But Daniel's kindness was real. He gave without asking. He smiled without agenda. One morning, Daniel arrived later than usual. He looked tired, his uniform wrinkled, his eyes heavy. "Rough night?" she asked softly, surprising him. He smiled faintly. "Yeah, my daughter's been sick. The flu, I think. But she's strong. She gets that from her mom." There was a pause, and then he added quietly, "Lost her 2 years ago." Something in Olivia's chest ached. She wanted to say more, but he had to rush for the bus again. That morning, as she watched him disappear into the crowd, she felt something she hadn't felt in years: hope. The next week, he didn't show up. Not Monday, not Tuesday, not even Wednesday. Olivia sat on that bench, waiting, staring at the street where he usually appeared with his coffee cup and tired smile. By Thursday, worry replaced curiosity. She decided to find him. She followed the bus route he always took, tracing his path to a small diner on 5th Street. There she found him mopping the floor, his posture slouched from fatigue. He looked up and froze. "You?" he said, startled. What are you doing here?" "I was worried," she said simply. "You didn't come by." He smiled weakly. "Couldn't afford to miss shifts. My daughter's medicine costs more than my rent right now." Olivia's throat tightened. She'd spent more on a single business lunch than he did in a month. She glanced at his worn shoes, the patched knees on his pants. Yet his eyes still carried kindness. "Thank you," she said softly, "for everything you've done. You didn't even know me." He shrugged. "Didn't have to. Sometimes people just need someone to care." She left quietly after that, but her mind wouldn't stop replaying his words. That night, she pulled up his employment record. She had the resources to find anyone and discovered the truth. He was one of the janitors contracted through a cleaning agency her company had hired. The realization hit her like a storm. The man who had shown her kindness every morning worked for her. The next day, she returned to the bench, this time without the disguise. Her expensive suit replaced the gray coat, her hair styled, her confidence restored. When Daniel saw her sitting there, he almost walked past, not recognizing her. Then she smiled, the same gentle smile from every morning, and said, "You don't remember me, do you?" He blinked, confused. "Wait, it's you?" "Yes," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "Olivia Hale. I'm the CEO of the company you clean." He stared at her, speechless. I don't understand." "You helped me every morning without asking who I was," she said softly. "You gave kindness when I thought the world had run out of it. I disguised myself to see if humanity still existed beyond boardrooms and fake smiles, and you showed me it did." He swallowed hard, unsure what to say. "You didn't owe me anything," she smiled gently. "Maybe not. But I owe you something now." She handed him an envelope. "This is a permanent job offer, directly with my company. Full benefits, better pay, and a scholarship fund for your daughter." He shook his head, overwhelmed. "You don't have to." "I want to," she interrupted. "Because people like you remind me why I started all this in the first place." Tears welled in his eyes as he accepted the letter, his voice breaking. "Thank you, I don't know what to say." "Say you'll keep helping people," she replied softly, "even when no one's watching." Months passed, and Daniel's life began to bloom. He moved into a better apartment, his daughter recovered fully, and he began studying part-time to become a facility manager, a role Olivia encouraged him to pursue. But the story didn't end there. Every morning, he still brought her coffee, not to the park bench anymore, but to her office. The same coffee, the same smile, the same warmth. And sometimes, when the world felt too heavy for both of them, they'd share quiet mornings together, remembering the days when kindness was the only thing they had to give. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Because sometimes, helping a stranger means you're really saving yourself. And before you go, comment below. Do you believe in kindness that asks for nothing in return? Because those are the moments that change everything.